Today I have a really special young lady with us. I had the opportunity to meet her when I just for a very short time went to visit her school, and she came down, and I found her to be incredibly infectious. And just see, look at that beautiful bright smile right away. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her, and then we'll move on to some questions. Good morning.
Morning, hello everyone. My name is Elsie, and I'm an exchange student from Nigeria, and I'm hosted in Augusta, Maine, right now. So yeah, that's basically it about me.
Okay, awesome. So like I said, Elsie, when I originally met you, you just had such a curiosity and a brightness about you. And I have described you to others as the s- one of the sweetest souls I have ever met. There's just something about you that is very uplifting. So wherever you go, whatever you do, you make sure you keep that. Um,
Oh, thanks so much.
so tell me, what about being an exchange student you wanted? Obviously, you had some reason that you wanted to try this experience. So what were among those reasons?
So, I think for me, the biggest one was the fact that I could have an opportunity to share my culture and share where I'm from and just my life, my about my family and my traditions to people that I don't know. So that sounded like a really good opportunity. And that was like, yeah, why not? Why not go for an exchange, like an exchange program and for an exchange year? That was a big one for me, sharing my culture and then um also like just being able to leave my comfort zone, leave where I'm from, and actually go like, to the United States and
Mhm.
have the opportunity to school for a year and just like experience that kind of life. That
Yeah,
was a big one for me too.
yeah. I I
Yeah.
uh, I can't imagine doing that. So tell us a little bit about your country. You're from Nigeria.
Yes.
What's it like there?
So Nigeria's awesome, yeah. So Nigeria is located in Africa, obviously in West Africa,
Hmm.
and it's bordered by Chad, Cameroon, Niger, and the Benin Republic. So we're a populous country of about 200 million, and yeah, basically it's
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah. Okay. So do you live in closer to an urban area?
um I'd say so. Yes, yes,
Okay.
I do.
What is your capital city?
So the capital city of Nigeria is Abuja.
Okay.
Yes.
And how far do you live from there?
So I live in Bauchi. Bauchi is about 4 to 6 hour, a four
Oh,
to six
wow.
hour drive to Abuja, the capital. Yeah,
Okay.
but I visit occasionally.
Okay. And so tell me about your family.
So I come from a family of four siblings plus me. That makes it five. Two
Okay.
parents and some dogs and a cat. So
So you like animals.
I do. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's basically my family, and they're really supportive and caring and there for me. So
Yeah. How many do you have, brothers and sisters?
yes, I do. So I have two sisters and two brothers.
Okay. And
Yeah.
where do you fit in the line of siblings? Are you the
So I'm
oldest,
actually
youngest?
yeah, I'm the firstborn. I'm the
Oh,
oldest. Yeah. My little sister just turned 1
oh,
in
wow.
December. Yeah.
That had to be really hard to leave her.
Oh yeah. It was. I kept thinking. I was like, oh my gosh, when I get back, my sister's not gonna like recognize me or like.
Yeah.
That was
And
really
she
hard.
will walk and
Yeah, she's already
probably,
working since birth.
yeah, and probably starting to babble and say little
Mhm,
words and things. Oh,
mhm.
I'm sure that's really hard, but
Yeah.
um, okay. And so what is the climate like in Nigeria?
So we have more. So it depends on where you stay, kind of like the US. depends
Yeah.
on where you stay. But I say the general climate is more of a hot and like for me where I stay it's a hot and dry kind
Hmm.
of region. It's not like a humid kind of heat, like a dry kind of heat, so it's not really overwhelming. It kind of just like stings you. But yeah, we don't have snow.
Yeah.
It gets cold, but I'd say like the coldest I've ever experienced is like I'd say like 40 degrees, I guess. That's like the coldest.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it was just a bit of a surprise in Maine.
Oh my Lord. Yes. It was like I got to Maine and then it was like snow started falling. I was really excited. Oh, snow, I'm seeing snow for the first time. I went out played in snow, but 6 months of cold and snow is crazy.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
really
snowed
cold.
recently, right?
Yeah, it did. It did. I think it snowed like last week. Yeah, and it was like it was really cold, and then I'd always be always bundled up, even when people were like, "Oh, today's like hot or something." I'm always bundled up, always wearing two pairs of pants. It was crazy, but yeah, I kind of
Okay.
got used to it.
Did you build a snowman?
Ish, a little bit.
You tried, maybe it
I
wasn't.
tried.
Yeah.
It didn't come out well.
Okay. Okay. Um, so obviously, weather is one of the ways that living in Maine is very different from living in
Hmm.
Nigeria. But what other kinds of things do you feel like are very different between our countries?
Okay, so for me, I think a big one was food. Food was different. Nigerian food is mostly um spicy and hot and a lot of soups and a lot of like dishes. So like coming to Maine where the food is kind of more of like bland and sweet. It took me a while to like adjust, but it's not like American food is really good. Maine food is really good, especially lobster.
Yeah,
So
I did see
yeah.
that you tried lobster.
I did try lobster, so yeah, it's different. It took me a while to adjust, but that wasn't a problem. And then like school life, um, it's really different. Like having to not wear a uniform to school and having to I think having to have like a variety of classes, knowing that you could just do what you like, not what was like put in place for you. You could really like mix it up and just enjoy yourself and really take a lot of classes. That was a really different setting for me.
Mhm.
And yeah.
So what I just heard you say there, I just want to clarify. You don't wear a uniform in your school in Maine, but you do at home in Nigeria?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
most of the
that's
food. Sorry.
I know I was just going to say that's probably very different because
Mm-hmm.
you probably in the beginning felt like you weren't dressed appropriately.
Mm-hmm. At first, yeah. And then like it felt like a relief at some point, but then like thinking about, oh, I have to prepare my clothes for school tomorrow, like the night before and all of that. Because if it was in Nigeria, I knew I had a uniform, so I just had to wear it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Okay. Um, so you said food was a bit of an adjustment.
Yeah.
Anything else that was well, and obviously the uniform at school, but was there anything else that you struggled to adapt to?
I'd say adapting wasn't that hard. I mean, my whole family was amazing. They totally like understood that a lot of things I wasn't like used to
Yeah.
this American family life. The way they relate with each other is kind of different, but um it didn't really like family life didn't take me that long to adjust to.
Mhm.
Um
Yeah,
yeah, it
you have a
wasn't.
very loving host family.
Yeah,
So
I do, yeah.
yeah, and they
Mhm.
think the world of you, which is easy to do, but I'm certain that with the way that you are very curious and kind, it's easy to have to build that communication with you to for adjustments.
Yeah.
Um, so I do have to ask you this. The population in Nigeria of people is predominantly Black.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and is there a religious mix there?
So we have the population generally is we have 200 million people,
Hmm.
and um predominantly, well, we're all black, and then predominantly for religious on religious basis, we have like 60% of the population is Muslim,
Hmm.
and then 40% is Christian. So I'd
Hmm.
say Islam is more predominant in my country.
Hmm.
So, but and yeah, and the part of the country that I stay in is actually we have more of Muslims.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so is it a harmonious situation? Do the religions generally get along and just coexist easily?
Yes, yes. I mean, for the part, there have been little uprisings here and there, but
Yeah.
for the most part, the year, past year and like 2 years, it's been really good. There has
Yeah.
been like there has been peaceful coexistence, tolerance. Yeah, it's been pretty good.
What do you think is the main reason why there would be any tension between the religions in your country?
Okay, so just like it is everywhere, once people know that they're different
Yeah.
and they don't really agree with each other, which is bound to happen. We will not always agree with each other or what we believe in or what we think, but um there's always bound to be conflict whenever there's difference.
Hmm.
So I think just the fact that it's just different brings
Yeah.
about conflict. The fact that I don't think the way you do, so it brings about conflict. But I think right now there have been a lot of advocacy for tolerance and peace. Lots of people have come out to talk about it, about why our differences matter, but at the same time we should accept it and just tolerate each other. So that has been a big thing.
So do you feel like the key to that understanding piece is communication?
A lot, yes, a lot. It has to do with communication. It has to do with
Yeah.
communication. Like for me, my school is, we have a wide population of Muslims in my school, and I think going to my school, it's called Sunshine International School, and just being around those people and really understanding their point of perspective, where they're from, how they think, what it's all about. Just
Hmm.
understanding it goes a long way in making sure you just like accept people for who they are and
Hmm.
what they believe in. So yeah, my school Sunshine actually instilled in me that area of just tolerance and accepting people. And that
Hmm.
was, yeah, one of the ways that why I wanted to go on an exchange program.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's awesome. So, obviously, you said that the majority of the population in Nigeria is Black, and coming to Maine, that had to be very different for you. I wouldn't say that Maine doesn't have its diversity, but the area that you live in is pretty significantly white. Um,
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that. That had to be sort of a bit of culture shock for you.
it was. I think if I was to be asked like the kind of the biggest culture shock for me was gonna be that, I guess,
Uh-huh.
because I think in Nigeria, I mean, I'm surrounded with the black people, so I don't really like think about it, you know.
Yeah.
But like really coming over to me, my school, Coney High School in Augusta, and yeah, we don't have a lot of like black people, people that look like me or black or whatever. Um, it just made me really realize and just accept who I am, and the fact that people here also accept who I am, like
Yeah.
they don't mind about like what I look like or whatever. They just accept me and treat me
Mhm.
normally.
Yeah.
That made me really like comfortable and made me adjust. Like it wasn't I didn't really look at my color again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's really neat that it dissolved very quickly for you.
Mhm.
And again, it's one of those things that's so important about exchange
Yeah.
is bringing people together that aren't necessarily happening easily. So I just applaud your courage there, because that has to be a little bit unique, going from, just being an average person in your society to sort of being this celebrity for a number of reasons at your school. So,
Yeah.
um, and so you were well accepted by your school and your
Yeah.
community, and
Yeah.
that's awesome. Tell me about the relationship that you've built with your host family. I know that they are wonderful, but I also know that you have a very special bond with your host sister.
Yeah. So I love my host family like so much. I mean, before I came here, a bunch of alumni were talking about how you'd get a second family, sorry, in the US, and I was like, how can you actually s- bond so much with people to actually be a family over the course of 8 months, but it has happened actually.
Yeah.
So my host family is really supportive and they are my second family. I can trust them for a lot of things, and I'm much more close to my host sister, Zoe. I love her so much. She's amazing. She's just so creative, so open-minded, and she's just a bundle of everything good.
Aw. Well, that's awesome. I know that you've made a huge impact on their lives as well. So I think that it's kind of a mutual thing that that you guys adore each other. Um, so do you have any funny stories or anything unique that has happened to you in your experience?
For sure. Like I don't so much has happened, but I think I'm gonna share this one. So okay, so I'm sure you know what I'm gonna share, so
I have a feeling that you're going to share a story that we experienced together.
yes, I think the funniest one for me was
A little
okay,
sad
so
too.
a little sad, so really, really sad and traumatic. So I was in New York, and I was with Jamie, my cluster leader, and other exchange students, and we were at Niagara Falls, and it was snowing heavily, and we went to see the falls, and it was so cold. So
Yes.
we we're going back to the cars because the we're going to the what do you call that restaurant again? The Rainforest restaurant, I
Oh,
guess.
yes, we
That's
were
what
going
it
to
was
the
named.
Rainforest Cafe.
Cafe, yes. So and then it was really cool, and knowing me, I was always cool. So I rushed ahead of everyone to go to the car, and then there was this little squirrel like that was on the ground. I was like running around, and it was so cute. Like everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, it's a squirrel!" And everybody took pictures with it, and it was so like friendly, allowed us to take pictures with it, and it was really like tame. And then so
It
I
was
looked at him. I was like, "You're
unusually friendly.
unusually tame." And then I went to the car, and then I sat in the car, and then I closed the door. I jammed the door, but then I felt that the door wasn't exactly closed. And I was like, and I was holding my purse, and I thought it was my purse that was in between like the doors. So I was like, oh, I need to pull my purse, and I just looked down and I saw the squirrel squashed in between the door. And I was like, Elsie, no way. How did you do that? I literally squashed this guy in, oh my gosh. And then there was like blood on the ground, and it was on the snow, and it was just so, I was like, it was so bad. I started to cry, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I started to cry, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I like screamed, and then Jamie and one of our cluster leaders came and saw the squirrel. And guess what? Everyone was laughing. And I was like, I was like, oh my gosh, there's blood on every. It was just so traumatic for me, but it was really funny. I think later on when I calmed down and then I thought about it, I was like, of all things, Elsie, you squashed a squirrel.
Exactly. The squashing of the squirrel itself was very sad and tragic.
Oh
However, it was just the irony of the situation, Elsie. You wouldn't hurt a fly on
my god.
purpose, and all of a sudden, you have maimed a squirrel.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, like the sight of the blood on the snow, everything was just, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not good.
Yeah, it was such an unusual experience, and I think to say that we were all laughing makes us sound very heartless. We were felt terrible for the squirrel and we felt terrible for you, but there was just such a strange irony
Oh
in
my
that. Like
god.
there were very few people at Niagara that day because it was
Mhm.
snowing so hard and it was not really a time to be out and about, but because we were all from out of state, we were we were determined we were going to make it, and this little friendly little squirrel found Elsie, and then, and then
I didn't even know it followed me to the car. Like I didn't even know.
squirrels don't follow people to cars. They don't try to get in people's cars.
What a weird squirrel. I'm like, oh
Yes,
no.
I told you you're infectious. Even that squirrel wanted to be around you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, I did feel really terrible because I knew you were so upset, and the funniness of that story didn't really end, because then I made a mistake, and I thought it really important to tell your representative in case you texted your host mom because you were upset. We knew you were upset, and
Mhm.
in my car we had another student who was Muslim, and in the area that I am from,
Yeah.
we don't really have advertised foods for Muslims specifically, what we call halal foods.
Oh.
And so, as we were pulling out of the park there at Niagara Falls, I saw a food truck that was advertising halal foods. But I was in the process of sending a text message to your representative, and I was using voice to text. And so, I guess I was so taken off guard by the fact that they had this halal foods food truck that when I looked up and saw it, I said, "Oh, halal foods." And when I went to check to see if the message from if your CR had sent anything back to me, I realized I said, "We've had this tragic event. Elsie killed a squirrel. She's really upset. It's halal food." So that just made
Oh
an
my
absolutely
god.
ridiculous situation even more ridiculous. But I think that we all shared a lot of laughs and a lot of
Yeah.
hugs, and
Yeah. It
uh,
was a good bonding experience.
it was crazy. We will never forget it. Elsie will go down in history. I promise you.
Oh.
Um, all right, so I'm going to skip the next question, which was, what's your favorite American food? Because we just got finished discussing the halal squirrel, which was not at
Okay.
all halal. Um, but so tell me, when you return to Nigeria, how many years of high school do you have left?
Okay, so I still have 1 more year of high
Mhm.
school, in which I'd write the West African Examinations Council's exam, which is a kind of like an exam you write that determines whether or not you're eligible for college in my
Mhm.
country. So, and all seniors write it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no doubt you will be successful. We've done one other interview with a yes student, which I haven't really asked much about of you, but knowing that only 3% of applicants, 3 to 6%, are accepted and given the scholarship that you earned, uh, you are going to pass that test very easily.
Thank you.
So I know that you will be successful. And after that, what are you going to do?
So after that, I'm planning on going to college. I'm planning on applying to some colleges back in the US, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm planning on going for radiology as a
Okay.
major.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my plan for now after high school.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well, I can say that I'm a little bit excited that you might apply to schools in the US. I love that. Um, so as a Yes alumni, you will have the opportunity to participate in some experiences with the Alumni Association at home.
Yes.
What kind of things do they do when you return?
So generally for yes students, once you go back home, you're required to do a volunteer activity in your community. And so for my alumni association, they've done so much. I think yes has been in my country for the past 15 years,
Yeah.
and yeah, they've done so much. They've had workshops, they've had educational programs, like teaching people about how to basically take care of themselves and be productive. And they've done a lot of advocacy around
Mhm.
teaching people just basic things around the community. And I think for me also, just the I think one big thing that my exchange year even taught me was the power of volunteering, the way volunteering actually does make a difference. Like just looking at the basic of it, like my host family, they volunteered to
Yeah.
host me, which and they're not getting anything for it, but just the joy of them saying that they have someone from another culture, another country in their house and
Mhm.
in their home is a big thing for them. So that really makes me just see volunteering in a whole different perspective and know that
Yeah.
volunteering goes a long way, no matter what it is. Like it doesn't have to be something big, as
Yeah.
long as you are doing something and giving back to your community. That's what matters, and it will go a long way in actually making your society better.
Well, that's an awesome perspective. Um, I heard you say that your host family doesn't get anything for volunteering to host you, and while that is technically true, they are not getting a financial uh,
Yeah.
uh, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not getting a financial reward. There's nothing like that. But I promise you that your host family has gotten lots of things by having you in their home. Just the amount of love that exchange students bring and the culture that they share. Those things don't have a value, but they are incredibly important.
Yeah.
Um, so I have two questions left for you. One of which is, what is something in the US that you tried that you would have never been able to try in your country or experienced?
Oh, mm, uh, I'd say, um, okay, that's kind of okay. Okay, I just gotta think about it a little bit. Um, I think even American school itself, like
Yeah.
I know for sure. I mean, if you go to college in Nigeria, I think I don't know why the uniform thing is a big thing for me, but going
Mhm.
to college you don't have to wear a uniform. But I think just the for me maybe in school, the ability to actually have like extracurricular activities in
Uh-huh.
school, like I joined an outing club and I go for hiking, I
Yeah.
go for like camps out and
Mhm.
walks. And it's I think definitely I won't be able to experience that in my school, since it's mostly geared toward education wise. And I think for me also, like thinking about it now, that's something I'd want people in my school back in Nigeria to actually experience. So I'll probably like open like start a club or something like
Yeah.
that has to maybe do with outing club or anything, but I'm
Oh, I
actually
love
thinking
that.
yeah, so I think that, and then a lot of American food, a lot of American food. I want to say I torment my siblings and my friends with, like the American food that I like take pictures of and send home, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you tried that!" They're like, "Oh my gosh, you tried a burger," because like you're used to seeing it on TV and
Uh-huh.
seeing people eating a burger or eating pizza or eating like stuff like that, but you don't exactly eat that on a daily basis.
Mhm.
So yeah, food.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So my last question for you is, as the year is winding down, and COVID has definitely made such an impact on all of us, but as you look to a time when you are going to be returning home, what do you want people in the US to remember about you?
Okay, so I think a big thing for me, I want everyone to remember my smile.
Oh,
Um, and then I really want people to remember, remember everything I've really told them about my country, and really remember me for being flexible and optimistic and selfless. I guess yes, I
yeah.
want people to remember that of me.
Well, in my experiences with you, you have definitely made an impression. I will never forget that smile. Um, and you're just a very cheerful, loving spirit. So thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me today. It was really great
Thanks
to
so much
see
for the
you.
opportunity.
Yeah, it was
Definitely.
great to see you again, and I am very excited about sharing your interview with people, because I think that, some of the perspectives that you have to share are so very important, and I'm appreciative of you giving me the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
You are welcome, Elsie. You have a great day.
You too.
All right, bye bye.